Hey, what's up, everyone? You are watching or listening to the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY, and today we shall go back to July 1984 for Alpha Flight, issue number 12. The creator and writer and artist is John Byrne, letterer by Michael Higgins, colorist Andy Yanchus, editor Denny O'Neill, and editor in chief was Jim Shooter. So, John Byrne has established himself as a legend in the comic book industry with his wonderful work for the Uncanny X-Men, the Sensational She-Hulk, the Fantastic Four, Wonder Woman, Superman, and the Incredible Hulk, but also for his creator-owned work on X-Men, Babe, and Danger Unlimited. In fact, if you were to read a John Byrne book, you probably won't be disappointed. It's one of the reasons why his books are considered as keepers or must-find comic books to read. But there was one title during the 80s that John Byrne worked on as writer or artist for Marvel Comics, and no one knew what to expect, and that was working on the Canadian superhero group Alpha Flight. Unlike other titles where characters were well established, unless one read X-Men, especially issue 120 from April 1979, it was a series that John Byrne was reluctant to work on, and it was a series he didn't have much fun working on, despite working on it for 28 issues. But one thing for sure, Alpha Flight was popular, with its first issue selling over 500,000 copies. And while the series received criticism for not being focused as a team when compared to the Avengers or X-Men, because of John Byrne's involvement with the series, he made the comic book worth reading, and the characters would eventually grow on readers. If anything, the series earlier on dealt with character dynamics, featured a few characters at a time, and for the most part, the series was entertaining, but not too complex. So surprisingly, readers were not prepared what John Byrne had planned for issue 12. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up right now. An image from that. Right there. This is a spoiler right here. So, um, do not read any further. If you want, do not read it. If you do, I'm going to go back right here. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert. And I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about what happens because I kind of have to get into this issue. So if you do not want to know what happens, definitely stop now. I'm going to count down to 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to talk about the issue now. The series began with Heather Hudson being taken to an undisclosed location near the World Trade Center in New York City by a woman named Delphine Courtney. Demanding to see her husband, Delphine tells her to watch the television, and she sees Jerry Jackson, a man who formerly worked with James Hudson. He goes on to say in the video that he was betrayed and how the suit that James McDonald Hudson created was stolen, and he was fired from their company because of it, and how Can, a company he has dedicated 18 years of his life, disrespected him. Side note, Hudson, who worked as a leading petrochemical engineer and scientist for the Amcan Corporation, developed the powered exoskeleton suit, and when he found out that it would be used for American military purposes, he raided his workplace and stole the prototype suit and destroyed the plans. While he left the suit to be found, it could not be controlled without the helmet. So, to make matters worse, the airline ticket back to Canada wouldn't work, and when he arrived back home from America to Canada, his life had left with the children and now was unemployed. Uh, this person, let me get his name again. No, I just forgot. I was just talking about it. Jerry Jackson. He was destitute, broke, and had no prospects, and he wanted to kill himself. So he attempted suicide by trying to hang himself while the landlady found him before he was to die and was rescued. Because of the lack of air to his brain, it caused brain damage and he was never able to walk again. While the Guardian made his first appearance in Canada and became the first superhero for the country, he noticed that the Guardian's battlesuit was similar to the suit that James Hudson created, and when he went to do the research, he uncovered Guardian's government connection to the Ministry of Defense, and when he called the ministry in Ottawa, James Hudson answered the phone. Immediately, he went to Roxon with his information, met Delphine Courtney, who became his legs. He would then mirror what James Hudson did and create Omega Flight for one purpose: the death of James Hudson and the destruction of Alpha Flight. As Heather tries to escape, she is thrown back by Delphine, and when Heather tries to fight her, she tears her face, which appears to be a mask. Meanwhile, Shaman and Snowbird sent a distress signal call to the other Alpha Flight members, but because of the problems between Jean Marie and her brother, who were not talking at the time, Jean Marie Aurora spending time with Walter, who's Sasquatch. Northstar goes to retrieve Puck, and when they arrive, Northstar tries to apologize to his sister, but Sasquatch interferes and tells him to lay off his sister. It ends up causing a fight between both men, which Aurora and Puck get involved, forcing Shaman and Snowbird to get involved. So, in other words, Alpha Flight is getting in. All the members are fighting each other, while we are seeing other members, such as Heather Hudson, now being kidnapped and trying to fight for her life. So, as hostilities end, Shaman takes everyone to the action where Guardian is seen fighting against Omega Flight. A battle ensues between both groups. Meanwhile, James, who's the Guardian, fights against Box, which leaves his cybernetic uniform damaged and is about to blow up. With 10 seconds to disconnect, the power pack from his suit, for some reason, the disarming of the power pack is not working. And when Heather walks and sees her husband, he tries to warn her to get away, and sure enough, boom, the suit explodes. Words could not describe how shocked to see old Mac obliterated in such a way. Guardian was such a popular character in Alpha Flight that I had no reason to believe that a major member would die, and sure enough, John Byrne shocked everyone by killing off Guardian. Of course, sticking to the Marvel comics, if you don't see the body, then they are not dead theme, the real Guardian would come back many years later, but still, what a way to surprise your readers by killing off the leader of Alpha Flight at the time. Yikes. But definitely a wonderful issue. I definitely recommend reading it. A special double-sized issue, by the way. So that is a wonderful cover, and I just like how it pops with that pink in the background and with the targets. Really cool cover. Okay, everyone, you take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and I'll see you later next time with a